Welcome to How Women Inspire. You're in for a treat today. You're going to hear from Megan Schoettmer today. She is such an important leader in our community. She is a values-based leader in the financial services industry, which I'm just going to say we all know we need more of. And she is dedicated to driving positive change and creating opportunities that support our women's financial independence. She's the regional president for PNC Bank in Northern California, and she plays a crucial role in her day job. She's got so much other stuff I can't wait to tell you about. In her day job and with business development and fostering really intimate, strong relationships with her clients in technology and healthcare and real estate. Megan is also such an unbelievable community leader. She serves on the boards of the Children's Discovery Museum of San Jose, which is such a gem, and the Bay Area Council, which is a critical, influential organization in our community. She's also the co-chair for How Women Leads Get on Board Week, which makes me so proud. She really, truly works tirelessly to lift up and empower other women and support them in their leadership roles. Drawing inspiration from her own journey as a working mom of two, she is passionate about helping women take control of their financial futures and ultimately shaping a brighter future for all of us. Thank you so much, Megan, for being here. And everybody listening, get ready for a really insightful and inspiring conversation. Thank you, Megan, for being here.
Well, thank you. I'm so honored and excited. And there were inspiring women among my journey that brought me to How Women Lead and led me to meeting you, Julie, and learning about all the amazing work you're doing to help lead us forward and change our path and our future and make it brighter. So couldn't be happier to be here.
Well, in partnership, my dear. All right, before we dive in, let's actually do the creative stuff for a hot minute. What is your favorite song in those moments when you need a little pick-me-up or you want to celebrate?
So I'm a banker, so creative's not usually my forte. However, I do like to have fun. In the moments where I need to remind myself that I can do it and I have something to offer, I really love Firework by Katy Perry. There's a line in there, you've got to ignite the light and let it shine. And I think that's so important for us as female leaders. And then again, I'm a mom of a certified Swiftie. So when I need to just let it all go, I shake it off and dance with the kids.
Also, how old are your babies?
I have an almost 9-year-old daughter and almost 5-year-old son.
Those are such great ages. You're sort of out of the pain and in the real, what I think, my kids are a lot older. I think it's such a fun, 9 in particular is the best. You're really planting the seeds for who they're going to be in the future. It's such a different level than when they're littler. So I'm excited to see and be part of your life as you go through that whole journey because it's such a gift. Let's talk. I have some questions for you. You are so confident, but you actually say you're an introvert and that you're shy. What did you do to come across as so confident and powerful and speaking up in boardrooms, et cetera? And you're like in banking, so you must be around men all day long.
Yes. I love to share this part of my journey because I think when I started in my career, I didn't see a point on the trajectory where I could be doing what I'm doing today. I am shy. I'm an introvert. And I also, very early in my career, and I still struggle with this need for perfection. Like failure is scary. Want to be perfect. Don't want to mess up. So all of that earlier in my career and in a career in financial services and banking where I need to grow a business, network, build relationships, walk into rooms that are generally full of men working with the C-suite of companies and trying to gain their business. We've made some progress, but still lots of men in the room, right? To gain their trust almost just felt like crippling to me. It was so hard to overcome that shyness, but really, there were some people who kind of led the way for me or reinforced that I could do it. And I didn't have to be the person who went to the event and collected 100 business cards and talked to everyone in the room. There's different ways to be successful and build relationships. For me, I had to lean into my authentic self. What I'm really good at is I work hard. I work tirelessly, like you said. I will work hard for anyone and anything. I have integrity. So if I tell you I'm going to do something, it's going to be done. I'm transparent. If I can't do it, I'll let you know that ahead of time. Those were things. I'm reliable. I'm empathetic. That's my brand. That's who I am. And so then I learned ways to leverage that. If I was going to go to an event, I researched who was going to be there beforehand, who are 2 or 3 people in the room I wanted to meet. Keep it small, learn how to connect with people and research some things I could talk to them about. What college did they go to, or what's the newest news in their business? And then once I formed those relationships, follow up, right? Like make those connections and follow up. You don't need to know 100 people if you can form really great relationships for 2 or 3 and then add to that as you move on. So that's really how I really grasped my like confidence and speaking up, being comfortable in big rooms full of people. And then I think internally, I had to also work with my leadership teams, which I've had some great leaders, supportive leaders along the way, to say like, hey, I want to add value in these conversations. These are the points I want to make. Like, this is where I want to speak up. And so I kind of took control of that. And they're like, yeah, great, go. Like, you have that. And then I prepare. I over prepare. That builds my confidence. And then over time now, like I feel more comfortable in a room, forming a relationship, having a conversation with a stranger. I still get nervous. That's something I think I will always have and I have to work with. But it took me realizing I didn't have to be what was shown as kind of the typical person that was successful in those roles. Because quite honestly, there weren't a lot of women necessarily in the roles that I wanted to be in either. I leaning into my authentic self and who I am really helped lead me on the path to success in my career.
That was like a master class in 2 seconds. That was really powerful. Is there somebody in your life who helped you figure this out? Because you're very clear and very powerful about what your value that you bring. That was awesome.
Yeah, I've had like just some amazing people in my life that have really supported me. And with How Women Lead, I love the credo, but I really love that being our fierce advocates, right? There was a woman early in my career that I worked with, and she just was so confident in my abilities to do more than what I was doing day to day. She always told me, you're going to run the bank one day. You're going to run this group one day. You're going to do big things. And I would look at her thinking, you're crazy. Like, I could never do that. There's nobody up there that I see that's like me. And I was afraid to actually show ambition, I think. We've grown up in a society where women are seen, not
Ding for
heard.
ambition. Yeah, you're ding.
Yeah. Typically, men were seen as like the boisterous personalities, and that was great, right? But women needed to be more subdued. And then with my shyness, like it was just tough. But she saw it in me before I saw it in me. And she not only told me, she was out there telling others. She would tell people in front of me, and then she would speak up for me in rooms where I wasn't in when it was discussing.
Big sponsor for you.
Yeah.
Sounds like
She was like,
and a sponsor. Yeah.
and she was like my own personal hype woman. I felt like
my
she would,
God, that's
anywhere we
awesome.
went, events, things, she'd be like, this girl, she's going to run the world. She's going to change lives. And I think she really showed me what I could be and helped me kind of gain that confidence. Because I was like, well, if she sees it, then there must be something here, right?
That's fantastic that you found that wonderful person. I hope she lives forever and you get to thank her over and over forever. You're young, you have 2 kids, you got a very senior role. What is your support network like, and how have you managed to hold that all together? I know it's not easy. So let me just acknowledge that.
Yeah. No, it's definitely not easy. There's obviously struggles every day, but I'm also in a very fortunate and privileged position where I do have a support system. I have great parents that help me all the time. I have really great friends. I've had some great leaders along the way that have allowed me the space to get my MBA while I was working. I actually probably one of the most pivotal moments in my career, which I think if I hadn't taken a risk, I wouldn't be where I am today, was when I was up for my first big promotion, going from individual contributor to manager, which I think is probably one of the hardest,
Right.
Your first like big challenge to navigate in your career. The opportunity came, and I had just found out that I was pregnant with my first child, with my daughter. And I'm thinking, oh my gosh, like, this is so amazing. Yay, this position's open. They want me to interview for it. Like, here I go. But how could I do this? I'm going to be a new mom. I don't know what that is. And they don't even know that I'm pregnant yet because this is my first trimester. Would they even want to hire me? I'm going to have to be out for 3 or 4 months. But so I went through the interview process, got the job. And then I was talking to my mom. My mom's been my rock through a lot of my life. And she acknowledged, like, yeah, Megan, this is going to be hard, But if you don't do this, think about your kids and their future and like what you want to achieve. And if you don't take this opportunity, then you're not going to know if you can do that. And we're here to help you when the balls drop, because something's going to drop and we're here for you. And if I hadn't taken that risk and I hadn't had her to push me saying, you can do it, you can be a mom, you can have your career, I don't think I would have taken the position. I would have just backed off and said no.
Look at all these angels in your life,
Yeah.
people who really believe in you. That's
Mm-hmm.
beautiful.
I've been blessed.
I've heard you talk about the broken rung in the workforce before. So what can we do at large to address this issue and help women transition?
Yeah, and the broken rung, for those who don't know, I think we've made some progress with senior leadership, right? And getting women into senior leadership. There's a lot of women coming out of college into career jobs. But that transition from your first job to manager, your first promotion, is where we're seeing a lot of women drop off. I think for every 100 men that are promoted, only 87 women are. A lot of people think like, well, like I said earlier, I was afraid to express ambition. But in some studies, they've actually shown women are expressing the ambition.
Yeah.
They're just not necessarily getting that opportunity.
Well,
And
they
there's
get
kind of
dinged for being too aggressive, right? Like it's
right.
culturally, it's there's a little dissonance for people,
Yeah.
which we got to fix. Asking women to constantly walk this fine line.
And it's been studied that men are typically promoted based off what people expect out of them in the future. And for women, it's based on what we've already done. So we need to change that bias and that perception that women have to prove themselves before they get the opportunity. And again, I've been fortunate in my life to have people that are just like believed in me and that I could do the opportunity, but not everyone has that. So I think that's a mindset that we need to work on shifting. And then I think corporations can also help. There's lots of great development programs, but we need to measure and track our development programs. Are we getting the right people and equity in the groups that are getting opportunities to move up? And me as a leader in corporate America, I try to lead by example. So just like somebody did for me, I speak up for women, right? Or, anyone who deserves
So you
the
are now the
opportunity.
sponsor of others.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
And we need to show that. And I've been also able to grow my career, and I still get to be like a somewhat involved like mom, because I've been fortunate to work in a place that provides flexibility for parents and for everyone. Even if you don't have young children, maybe you're a caretaker, right? We're in a sandwich generation. People are taking care of their parents and family members. We need to allow flexibility, and then most importantly, not penalize people when they need flexibility in their schedule. So I think that's really important.
I'll tell you what's interesting to me, and maybe it's old news now for your generation because you're younger than I am. My kids are 30 and 28. But my kids are so grateful. One, that when they were younger, every minute I was with them was quality time, and I was so thrilled to be with them. They felt it. They didn't feel that sort of someone who's metering their energy or those messages of like, oh my God, I need to get away from my kids. That never came out of my mouth. And now as adults, I'm their coach, like you are to other women. So there's trade-offs for sure. But I do see the bright light and the bright side of it now that I'm on the other end. I'm not asking for permission anymore. I'm not asking for a seat at the table. My friends, this is the first generation of us. We have a huge opportunity. We have power and influence and wealth. And we can start building the tables where we get the prime seats. Today, we want to invite you to join us as investors in venture. I know no one's asked you to do it before. It might be something that seems scary or foreign, but I promise you it's not that different than investing in a mutual fund where your retirement funds are. I want you to lean in and just learn a little bit more. How about making the commitment that in the next 12 months, you can give yourself 12 months to figure it out and to take a step. I want to invite you to be part of the new table of power and influence and wealth. You're invited. I want to sit at the table with you because we're going to make big change. We're going to make the world we've been dreaming of. You and I share something where financial empowerment for women understanding how to stand in their power. My mom, I just remember watching my mom was a stay-at-home mom, And I watched a bunch of her contemporaries. Their husbands left them. And this was before the 50-50 splits that was required when you had a partnership that dissolved. These women were destitute. And I was like, that will never be me. I will never be that vulnerable. It is so important. There's a big wealth transfer right now. This is one of your main areas of focus and passion. What do you think women need to be thinking about? What are the 1, 2, 3s of this financial literacy and how to really step up and stay in?
Yeah, I'm very passionate about this. Being in financial services and in banking, I want women to be financially empowered. And I think also society needs to accept the fact that this transfer of wealth is happening. So, but for women, first of all, we need to be educated and involved in financial decisions for your life, whether you're in a partnership relationship or not, whether you're the financial decision maker or not. You need to know where you are, get educated on it, and be involved. I think there's stories of women who haven't logged into their bank account, don't know what's happening, don't have an account of their own. Being set up with a foundation financially and knowing that is super important. And then I think your future financial independence, I mean, it can be scary and daunting to think about it. I've been in banking my whole career, and still sometimes I sit down and get intimidated by all of the different options. So it's very important that you find, one, your why and what are your goals, and then two, find an advisor that aligns with that, because you want to be set up to make investments and decisions based off of what you want your life to be, not what somebody else kind of wants to direct your decisions to be. And if you are financially empowered and in a good position, you can take risks or just really focus on your life and your career and not worry so much about that, your financial stress. There's studies done where we've looked at employees across the nation and how many are financially stressed. 77% of female employees are financially stressed daily. So there, you're not able to focus on your job, what you want your next position to be. If you want to take time off, that probably seems like it's not an option. So the more you can be educated and get your financial independence, you can take those risks. You can invest in other women businesses. You can start your business. You can take a giant vacation. I just think it's so important for women to have that financial foundation and independence. And then for the men, there's another stat out there that 70% of female widows end up changing their financial services provider within the first year.
Yeah.
So women tend to make decisions on who they're working with differently than men. Women want to be addressed in the conversation. Again, we're more financially, I think 62% of men were financially stressed versus 70% of women. We're thinking about things differently. So again, society and
like 85% of the household purchases, right? Like we are the ones. Oh, like sometimes my husband will go to the grocery store and buy like a $12 a pound chicken breast. And I'm just like, what?
Yeah. Yeah.
What did you just do, honey?
Yeah. So again, we need to take our own financial independence, and I want to help with that. But also the rest of the world needs to get in line. Like, we're going to be there. You need to speak to us.
Yeah. Oh, you're just such a wealth of unbelievable information. I know everybody's leaning into much. I want to actually go back. You were talking about the people who have been your sponsor and mentor throughout your career. How do you build those relationships? Like, do you have a personal board of directors? How do you think about asking people to be by your side and making sure you cultivate those relationships?
Yes, I love the idea of personal board of directors. Someone told me that early in my life, because you want different perspectives and people are going to know you differently. And you're going to need, I've needed help in kind of personal life decisions just as much as I needed help in work life decisions. And so I've always thought about having my people that know me through and through, right? They know what I'm capable of. They know me personally. They know my weaknesses. They're such a good sounding board for me. Then there's your people at work. You want somebody who's probably in your leadership rung to know you. That's going to help give you visibility in the organization. Someone else that you can kind of toot your own horn, talk about your successes with, what you want to do so they know what you want on your career path. And people outside of your group within work more get some unbiased direction and influence. And then people outside of work. You need connections, right? Outside of your job, your company, you need connections to potentially get to that next step or show you new opportunities that you may never have thought of. And just as much as, you want these people to help you, you need to give back to them too, right? It's a two-way street. And you want them to be your advocate. So we can't just be taking and taking relationships. You need to give back. So I think that's just build that trust with the people, find people who know you, but also can influence and be your sponsor.
And I always like to say, like, in any board you're building, whether it's your personal board of advisors or your own corporate board, let's say, you need to have people who can help you think ahead and sort of say, this is where you should be thinking about for 3 years from now. So they get you out of the weeds of sort of the day to day. So it sounds like you've done that in spades. And you started this off by saying, I'm disciplined, I work hard. Perfection is an illusion, right? And certainly for women, we're perfectionists, right? And we feel like we have to be, and we have no choice. Like the society won't allow us to not be, is what we think. And it also creates a lot of self-doubt for us. How have you wrestled with that? I mean, you're juggling a lot and doing big things, Megan.
Yeah, I mean, I wrestle with that still to this day, right? We all do. But I think I had to accept, one, life ended up showing me that perfection is not reality. So that's not going to happen. You're going to have to find some other way.
Balance, perfection, some of these things.
Yeah. Balance. Yeah. Balance is another thing. But I've learned that like my personal and my career journey are not going to be a straight line. I can't map it out on an Excel spreadsheet. That's just, I had to let go of that. And then also on I get asked a lot about balance, and I just don't think that's really achievable. I think it's fine. I kind of I have like 3 different identities. I can be a rock star leader out there empowering people in the community and do great at that. But then I'm volunteering in my kids' class and I'm present when I'm with my kids, like you were talking about, like being present with them. And I'm just the supportive mom. And then I'm the fun friend and protective family member, right? But I'm rarely all at the same time.
Yeah.
And that's okay. And I think we need to make people feel it's okay. You cannot be everything at once.
Yeah.
And
I can't believe you have time to be a friend. I'll tell you, when I was raising my kids when they were little, I was working, raising my kids. I was a terrible friend. Thank God I have some people who stuck with me throughout my career, but I actually built most of my friendships I have today in my mid 40s, because I was barely surviving in my 30s. Like the ability to be empathetic and hold a container for somebody else was really limited unless it had a purpose, I think. So well done, you. That's impressive. I cannot believe how quickly this went, Megan.
I know.
So special. Thank you for being so authentic and sharing such very practical, specific tips and recommendations for us. I can see the homework you do. It's really impressive. And I cannot wait to see where you go. So thank you so much for your time and your leadership and your commitment to us women in leadership and financial independence. It's a real gift to be your friend and to be in a community with you.
Well, thank you for allowing me the space to be unabashedly visible. Truly, I love it.
Well, you're well deserved. How can people get in touch with you, Megan, if they want you on their board or otherwise want to connect with you?
I'm on LinkedIn at least half the day. So please reach out to me on LinkedIn.
All right.
And I will get back to you. Love to connect.
All right, Megan, thank you so much. Thank you, everybody, for listening. I hope you're walking away as motivated and inspired as I am to really follow these tips, both for financial independence, but also building your board of directors and really being crystal clear about what your values are and how you can show up powerfully, even if you're an introvert or you're in a moment of self-doubt, how you can really pivot and turn the corner from that. Thank you, Megan. What a gift.
Thank you.